Pardon the mess. It was messy to begin with, and then I started to move this shop, and then I had to stop and mill 24 windowsills, and things got away from me. So this is past me. I haven't actually seen a completed light in action, but here are all of the components in case you want to try to make one yourself. I'm not going to walk you hand in hand through all the different pieces. You can figure it out. If you're contemplating making one of these, you probably have some of the skills. So let's look at the components. This is a single telegraph crossbar. This came from our property, and there is a defunct 19 teens old telegraph run. It's all been cut down and laying up there. So I salvaged a crossbar and I cut it down. So basically I cut like 3 feet out of the middle of it. Anyways, all of these corners are the proper spacing. They all match. And then this this third one in here, they all match. Now these don't have the extra hole, but that still matches. Basically, I wanted this one and this one symmetrical all the way around. You're going to need a project box. I'll try to put a link in the description to one of these. I was really pleased with the quality of this, and that's just the right size to sit on there. And that is where I will do my connections, and I will mount my low voltage light source. So you've already seen the finished light. This happens to be upside down, but you've got the 4 big room lights, and then when they die, or rather when they get turned off, then the 4 insulator lights turn on, and that's just low voltage LED. We'll get to this here in a second. This is the remains of a yard light. It was the cheapest yard light I could find at Lowe's. Okay, and I picked it because it looked to me like this would come apart really well, and it does. So this is my charger and my battery pack, and it should last for many, many years. And when it finally does die, I can pop those screws out. This box will get mounted right about here. This will have a hole. You notice it just clips in, a properly sized hole. So this will clip into the lid, and then the box will allow me to do all of my connections. You're going to need 4 eye bolts. Okay, I've painted these black, but they get set in right there. Each one of these is good for 120 pounds. I'm splitting that across 4. Despite how heavy this looks, it's cedar, so it doesn't really weigh anything. So you'll need 4 of those. You're going to need 8 of these telegraph standoffs. Now I had to search because they only were using 2 or 3 on each one, and many of them were broken. So I had to search, about a quarter of a mile a defunct line to find enough of them, but we found enough of them. And the insulators are just things we've collected up over the years. You're also going to need 4 of these, and this is a standard lamp socket replacement thing. I'm pretty happy with these quality too. Link in the description there. And then this shroud, that is, those spring sort of work lights or chicken coop lights. Well, I was looking for a shroud, and I was considering a couple of different things. And when I went to the hardware store, I noticed when they're spring lights, they had a whole stack of them. And I asked if they'd sell me 4 of them separately, and they said most people buy the spring lights and never pick up their shroud. So they had stacks of them there, and they gave me maybe like, 20 of them. So plus 1 for a mom and pop hardware store. So you'll need that. I don't have the other standoffs here, but obviously there'll be a standoff right there. It's another one of these insulator standoffs, and it's been drilled out for the center. So those sit like that. As far as preparing these, this is the low voltage side. So this is an insulator standoff, and it's been drilled out the center, and I have an LED in there. Now this happens to be a 5mm white, and I have connected it to a resistor and then slid the whole thing inside and held it in with hot glue. This produced just over 4 volts. If it produced just over 3 volts, I wouldn't have needed a resistor. You're going to have to figure out, it all depends on what LEDs you buy, what voltages they take, what your source is. There's no real way for me to walk you through this. Again, it's a pretty easy soldering project. You'll notice that I've cut this down shorter. That is because I found out that when you screw these in, most of them bottom out up there long before they actually come up tight. And you want a bit of an air gap. One, to protect your LED, but also because at the top of that, you need a diffuser. So this is diffuser material, and it just broadens out that light. I found if I didn't use a diffuser, what I got was a single bright beam out the center, and it didn't really glow. I mean, they don't glow much to begin with, less than I was hoping, but they don't really glow there. This is out of a thrown out flat screen computer monitor. Just let the kids smashy. There'll be a sheet of diffuser and a sheet of Fresnel lens. I'm not using the Fresnel lens. What else do I need? All right. Well, these aren't things you need, but this is how I'm doing it. So you're going to need something to hang it with. I made up these. This is the actual telegraph wire itself. This, up on our property, there's a giant ravine. It's maybe 600-700 feet between telegraph poles as it crosses that ravine. This was simply laying down at the bottom. So it is some sort of hardened copper bronze wire. And then that's a lineman splice that I put on the end of it. But basically, that's going to go right there. Okay, there'll be 4 of them that will come up, and they will connect to my ceiling mount. So up in the ceiling, I have a regular chandelier mount, and then this is some number 4 copper ground wire. Again, we just found it laying up there, and it's got another lineman splice on it. And then I will clip all of my risers, and I'll put a lineman splice down there. And that is all the various components to put it together. It's not particularly difficult. I'm going to install all of my light risers, and then we'll connect up the low voltage, and I'll show you what I did there. Here's the wiring. The box gives me a nice place to do all the junctions. Here's the low voltage coming out of the battery box. This is the house main feed, and it goes to, I got 3 right there, 1 right there, and all this will fit in there, you know, kind of nicely. These low voltage screw terminals are pretty famous for cutting wire, so what I did is I twisted and tinned all of these, and then I tinned those wires there so that they don't get cut. But yeah, that's the wiring, and now all buttoned up. So I'll just have to see which way they hang, and then I'll orient this towards the windows. Now to attach my hanging straps. And I really didn't like the way I did it on the other lights, so what I'm going to try to do is just bend these open slightly and then clip them on. Yeah, it should do it. I just opened them and pinched them. I didn't even have to mark up the paint that much. The person that comes and takes this down after me is probably going to hate me, but just cut the wires, bud. As of this point, I haven't even seen the finished product, but I'm about to. Here they are, up and done. I really like the look. The look of the glowing insulators is not what I had hoped. I can't get it to back glow, so you just get the glow through the tips. I mean, the diffusers help, but I really wanted that whole thing to glow. I'm not sure what I would have needed to do differently. I'm afraid if I'd put LEDs out sideways, you'd just get bright spots sideways. Maybe different kinds of diffusers. I'm not entirely sure, but the system functions, and they come on. We came out here last night and saw them on for the first time on their own. Yeah, let's look at them from down below. I didn't have light bulbs for this one. Downside's the small towns. I couldn't get 8 that matched, so I got my fancy ones up there. So they're ordering in, and they'll be here in a few days, and I can put those in, and then we can take the scaffolding down. But yeah, I like them, and they are bright. You know, there's 400 watts of light in each one. The room probably could have done with 1,000 or 1,200 watts of light overall. If I had, they're much higher than past me said I was going to hang them. If I had dropped them down another 5 feet, it would have been much more powerful down here. But in the end, we all decided they should be up higher. That's what it is.